Hello everyone, welcome to another Pythagoras video. Right, taking moment. And before I enter this topic, let's review some questions here. Given that x equals 2 and y equals 3 and z equals 7, calculate 3y. So we know that 3y means 3 multiplied by y, and y is 3 in this case, so that's going to be 3 multiplied by 3, so that is 9. And then we have y plus z. So y is 3, z is 7, so y plus z is equal to 3 plus 7, which is 10. And the third question we have is y squared plus z squared. So that is 3 squared plus 7 squared. And remember, when you square a number, we multiply it by itself. So that is 3 times 3, 9, plus 7 times 7, 49. So our answer would be 58. And the last one is z squared minus squared. Z, that's 7 squared minus 2 squared. So you have to square the numbers first, then do the subtraction. So 7 squared is 7 times 7, 49. 2 squared is 2 times 2, 4. So 49 minus 4, that is 45. And you should be warm enough to proceed. Let us continue. Alright, so the branch of mathematics that we are looking at is trigonometry. And specifically, we are looking at Pythagoras Theorem. So at the end of the lesson, I want you to be able to say Pythagoras Theorem in words. Use Pythagoras Theorem to solve or calculate missing length of one side of a triangle. And maybe in another video, use Pythagoras Theorem to solve worded problems. What is trigonometry? Trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that studies relationships between the sides and angles of triangles. So, trigonometry is all about lengths and angles of triangles. You know, you guys love to say, you angle triangle that? I hope that you angle triangle this. Trigonometry is found all throughout geometry, as every straight-sided shape may be broken into as a collection of triangles. If you look at this rectangle I have here on the side, as a part of the design, you'll see rectangles and all different, and you'll just see that many triangles in it, right? Alright, specifically for Pythagoras theorem, it is used with right-angled triangles. And you know that a right-angled triangle, of course, has a right angle in it. And the right angle measures 90 degrees. Now it says part of the triangle, what you really need to know as it relates to Pythagoras theorem is the hypotenuse. You need to be able to identify the hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. And the hypotenuse is always facing opposite to the 90 degree angle. The hypotenuse is the slant side of the triangle. Right? It's the longest side on the triangle, on the right angled triangle. Is the slant side, the slope, the longest side of the right angle triangle, and it is always facing the right angle. You need to know that. Alright, so what does Pythagoras theorem say? Pythagoras theorem is used to find missing length of one side of a triangle given the length of the other two sides. So we all know that a triangle has three sides. Pythagoras theorem, you must be given two sides, two lengths, and you will be required to find the third length. And it can only be applied to right-angled triangle. Let's look at this right-angled triangle right here. So using the squares, we can tell the measurement of the triangle, right? The length 1, 2, 3, 4. So over here has a length of 4 units, and over here has a length of 3 units. And if you count this side, it has a length of 5 units. Now let us count the total squares on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have 16 squared. And guess what? 4 squared is 16. Let's count the squares. The green squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And guess what? 3 squared is 9. And we have 5 here. Let's count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And of course, I'm sure you picked up the pattern that seeing that the length of that side was 25, was 5. We were going to get 5 squared, which is 25. Now let us observe. Remember that the slant side is the longest side on the triangle, right? The hypotenuse. And the length of it, the square of its length is 25. Now if you look at the square of its length for the short side, and we check it out, 16 plus 9 is equal to 25. Alright, take note of that. What is Pythagoras Theorem? Pythagoras Theorem says when you square the short side of a triangle, add them together, it is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. And remember, the hypotenuse is the longest side on the triangle. This is slant side, the slope side. Pythagoras Theorem says when you square the short sides of the triangle, add them together, it is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So if you observe in the previous triangle, when we counted, we got one length to be 4, and when we counted the square to be 7, we got 16. And the other short side was 3, and when we counted the squares, we got 9. And the longest side, the hypotenuse, the length of it was 5, and when we counted the squares, we got 25. And 16 plus 9 is equal to 25. So, in theory, or in symbolic form, Pythagoras' theorem says a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Based on what we did in the triangle, which of these variables represent the hypotenuse? Yeah, you guessed it. C represents the hypotenuse in the formula, because when we added the two short sides, we got the hypotenuse, which was 25. So C would be the length for the hypotenuse. So here's the triangle again. We got 25 over here, we got 16 right here, we got 9 right here. So length, so squaring the two short sides, adding it together, we get the square of the long side. That's what Pythagoras' theorem says. So we are going to look at some examples. So here we have a right angle triangle, not drawn so excellently, but a right angle triangle nonetheless. We are given the length of the two short sides, 8 cm and 6 cm. And the question is, what is the length for side X? Now you should realize that side X is the hypotenuse. Always write your formula first. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Remember, c is the hypotenuse. So a and b are the two short sides, doesn't matter the order. So then that means we can say 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to x squared. 6 squared, 36. 8 squared, 64, and we still have x squared. 36 plus 64, 100. So x squared is equal to 100, but we do not want x squared, we want x. So you should recall that when the opposite of squaring is square rooting. So that means to get rid of the square, we have to square root, and we have to square root both sides. So what will happen is that the square root will cancel the square, and we are left with x. And the square root, but you can't say that you're left with 100 over here because it wasn't 100 squared, it's 100. So you actually find the square root of 100, which is 10. What does square root mean? What number was multiplied by itself to give you this number? So 10 times 10 is what gives us 100. So the square root of 100 is 10. And that is it for this problem. Let us look at another example. Okay. Calculate the missing length. Now if you're paying attention, you recognize that we are given the hypotenuse in this example, which is the longest side, which in our formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared. T represents our longest side, or hypotenuse. So then a squared and b squared are the start side. So you put in what you have, and remember it doesn't matter what a and b is once they are the start side. So I'm going to put 9 squared. Don't know what the other start side is. Keep it as b, and c is 15 squared. So we work that out. 9 squared is 81. 15 squared is 225. Now, you guys know how to solve equations. We want to make b the subject of the formula, so we know that we're going to move the 81, right? So we're going to have b squared equals 225. When we move a term from one side of the equal sign to the other side, we do the opposite. So that's 225 minus 81. That means b squared is 144. And we want b, we don't want b squared, so we say that we have to find the square root. And we have to square root both sides. So square root cancels square. So b is equal to the square root of 144, which is 12 meters. So observe that when we're given the two short sides, we just square each of them, add it together, and find the square root. But when we're given the long side and one short side, we're going to end up squaring and subtracting, then finding the square root. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you learned. If you feel like you learned, make up some questions and do them. All the best.